Does anybody have an objection with me facilitating the meeting, or is there anybody else that would like to propose themselves as a facilitator for this meeting? Okay, so there's no objection. Are people all right with me facilitating this meeting? Did I get a nod or a yes?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, can I ask somebody to do a traditional opening or a prayer, or however you would like to start this meeting?
Thanks for this day, Lord God. Thank you for your mercy and love this day, God. Just give praise. Lord God, we ask you just be with us this day, Lord, as we go about this meeting, Lord, that we may do the good, that may good may come up for our people in this community, Lord God, and just give you praise, Lord. Be with us this day and guide us as we do this, Lord God. We just give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Hilda. All right, we'll now move to item number 3, which is approval of the agenda. So this is the point that if there's something on here that you don't want to have on here, or if you have a question about what's on here, or if you want to add something to it, now is the time to make that, to say that. I'll just, when you want to speak, just raise your hand, and I'll keep a list, or I'll keep track. If there's a bunch of you that want to speak, so I'll just ask again, is there any, okay, yes, sorry.
For item number 5, will we be reading that letter before we address that?
We can, if you would like it, if you would like it read.
Wait, before that, how about if we get the original letter that the chief sent out to his people, where he said he was supposed to, oh, you never got it either?
I don't get nothing.
Okay, he's got a letter that the chief sent out, where he said there was supposed to be an Indian monitor and not a facilitator at this meeting yesterday.
Okay.
So they changed the rules, as, you know what I mean? They didn't keep their word.
Yeah.
But Jorge's got a copy of it on his thing. Maybe we can get Darlene to read that out to the, because she's the chief spokesperson for us right now, right?
Okay, and just to clarify the process for this, so for each one of these are the questions that are here on the agenda are questions that require your decision as you're gathered here for this review process.
Confirmation
Yeah, I want you to read it.
Yeah. So what will happen? So we'll move on, assuming that there's no changes to the agenda. When we get to items 4 and 5, we'll read out that whole letter, and Darlene can read the letter from the chief where he nominates Violet.
No. We're talking about the meeting yesterday
Where he
with us.
said there was gonna be an Indian monitor, not a facilitator.
In a native,
You wanna
Anishinaabe.
show the letter? Let her read it.
The letter I gave you from
That's in the car.
Yeah, we need to do that first.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, I've got a print.
Yeah, that's the one that was posted
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
grocery store.
Yeah, you gotta read it.
So that way, it just
shows-
confirms from what happened to yesterday,
Yeah.
today, right now. And
Where he says there's an Indian monitor. Okay, read that.
okay, read it loud.
All right.
Okay, this is the letter that they sent out, the one I was at the grocery store in Cement Lake. Notice to members of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen, number 258. In accordance with the provisions of the Custom and Usage Convention of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen, the customary chief and headman, chief and council are calling for a review and gathering of the membership. The review shall take place on June 20th, 21st, 2019 at the new community center on reserved lands of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen. 2. All members of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen are invited and encouraged to attend with further notices to be sent to each household by March 20th, 2019 and May 20th, 2019. And number 3, an independent Anishinaabe monitor shall preside over the review. We encourage all members of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen to participate and to celebrate our First Nations at the gathering. So that's the one that was posted at the Savant Lake grocery store. I believe it was posted, I think it was a couple of months ago.
Couple months ago, yeah.
Yeah, I recorded it and I posted it on Savant Lake page.
Around April.
Yeah.
Yeah, around April.
Okay, the reason they read that letter is to show that there was not an Indian monitor there was a facilitator, which are two completely different things.
And he was a Frenchman.
Yeah,
Well, you have to admit his race, right?
Yeah.
He admitted the race on that paper.
And who did he represent?
he's a band employee is what he said. So he wasn't actually at all a monitor, he was, yeah.
Okay, so are there any changes
So,
to the
the
agenda,
meeting-
or can we proceed with the agenda?
So the meeting was fixed yesterday.
Yeah, you
Yes.
could say that.
Okay. So can we approve, is there anybody that wants to make any changes, add or remove things from the agenda? Now's your time to make that decision, or else we can proceed.
Well, we should get a consensus on this chief, Edward Mashimity. Do we still accept him as chief?
Well, we'll do that when we get to that. That's one of the questions on there, so we will get to that as point 7 on the agenda.
See, you got Ed Mashimity on there. On the other statements, you got chief. Chief, I see him 1, 2, 3.
Well, I called him, he's Edward Mashimity there, because if you call him Chief Edward Mashimity, then you are saying he's a chief. But if you say he's not a chief, then it's just Edward Mashimity. Right?
We say it 4 times in this. We refer to him as chief.
That's under point 8.
5. Like I said yesterday, I publicly said I do not accept their leadership.
Right. But other people have said that they do think he's a chief still, and he's a chief until he dies, but that's what that point is for. So then when we get to that point, people will say for and against, and they'll decide as to what you think as a group. So we'll just wait until we get to that, point. Okay, so unless there's any objections, then we'll move on to point 4. Okay, actually, or can I get a show of hands of people who approve this agenda? Hands up. Okay, and is there anybody that's opposed to this agenda? No, seeing no opposition and lots of support, I will move forward with this as our official agenda of the day. All right, so point number 4. Do the citizens of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen accept Chief Edward Mashimity's recommendation to appoint Violet Mashimity as his successor as Chief of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen, as per his May 16th, 2019 open letter? Yes or no? This is a yes or no question, and right now we can have some discussion if there's people that, if we need to have a discussion about it. If it's not, if people are ready to make a decision, then we can move to making a decision. And when it comes to making a decision, what we'll do is I have a sheet of paper here printed out with the question. It says, do the citizens of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen accept Chief Edward Mashimity's recommendation to appoint Violet Mashimity as his successor as Chief of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen as per his May 16th, 2019 open letter? And there's options to have yes or to have no. And I'll put the sheet up on that little well there, and people can come up and write your name clearly and then sign it as to whether you say yes or whether you say no. And that way there'll be a record that shows these are the people that said yes, these are the people that said no, and this will be forwarded to the lawyers and to the Canadian government to say, to inform them of your decision. So that's the idea for the process, because you guys don't use a hands up voting thing to make these decisions, but you can put your signatures on the paper so it's clear that it is the members that have made this decision. Okay, so is there any discussion on point 4? I know it was talked about yesterday, but we can discuss it again now today.
Is
Yes.
this where, I think maybe this is where we should read that letter, because this is involved in that letter too.
Okay, is there somebody that has that May 16th letter that can read it aloud?
Betty, do you have that letter, that May 16th letter that everybody was given?
The customary chief one?
Yeah.
At home, yeah.
Can you get it? Because we need to read it out. Or Nisha, do you have one on yourself?
I'm looking for it.
Okay, hang on, Betty. Just wait.
Wait!
Wait!
They got one here, I think.
They might.
They probably do.
Go and get it, I guess. I know.
We thought we had it.
I have it on a phone,
I know.
but you want the paper?
Yeah. There's police going by. Earlier in the red field was Violet, the band administrator.
You know what?
Wait for Betty.
This is the one that May 16, 2019. There are two of them? Nope. Could we be? So we ended up finding that letter of May 16.
Found it. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, is that the
The
same?
same?
Yeah, but it's written
It's just the
clearer,
first page.
but
Just the first one?
This is his affidavit for the court case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I haven't seen the bottom.
page, that's it.
Just the first page? Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't even see the bottom though. I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Open letter to the members of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen from Customary Chief Edward Mashimity. My thoughts are on our upcoming traditional gathering scheduled for June 20th and 21, 2019. During our community, we will come together to celebrate what we have accomplished and plan for our future together. The stability of our community's leadership has been an important part of all we have accomplished. I have been honored to have been chosen by the elders before me to lead our community as customary chief for over 34 years. It has been my privilege to represent and protect the treaty rights of our people to Canada, which I hope will benefit generations to come. It has been my honor to fight for the recognition of our people as a separate sovereign nation and see our people to get a land base of our own. It is now time to consider the next step in my journey and plan for a smooth and respectful transition for my successor. I anticipate that all community members will be given a fair and open opportunity at a traditional gathering to speak their mind on my succession plan. In case I am not well enough to participate in that discussion, I am putting my succession plan to you in writing so that we can discuss the matter now. It is the responsibility of the customary chief to appoint his or her successor, and I want to make sure I fulfill my obligation, which will take effect on my passing. The person who I believe is in the best position to take on the leadership of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen as customary chief is Violet Mashimity. Violet has worked at my side as a true partner over the past 34 years and has clear insight into the day-to-day operations of our community and the respect of all those she deals with, most importantly, our community members. Violet is fluent in our language, Ojibwe, and understands our convention. Additionally, it is my hope that when Darrell B. Kizik retires from the police force, that he would be in a position to take a long-term leadership role with Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen. I have discussed this plan with both Violet and Darrell, and they have both expressed a willingness to take on leadership responsibilities when called to do so. I feel confident that my succession plan would put the future generations of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen members into the strong hands of thoughtful, well-respected leaders who have already proven themselves over the years. So signed, he has a signature here, Customary Chief Edward Mashimity, dated May 16th, 2019.
Okay, so that's the letter in reference
Can you
in regard
give me
to
water?
this question.
Yep.
So now I'll just open the floor to any discussion of this. If people want to say if they've got a reaction or if they're ready to make a decision, yes or no, on this question. Is there anybody that would like to speak to this? Are people ready to make a decision to decide yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay, this was discussed yesterday as well. So I will, I'm just wondering, maybe can I get somebody to just give me a hand in terms of keeping track of the papers here?
I'll do it.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Hilda.
There you go.
Okay, so then I'll ask people to come up in a line to put their mark on this paper as to whether they say yes or no in regards to the chief's recommendation. Remind them that's the question, yes or no. They sign, they print their name and sign.
Perfect.
Okay, can anybody who's Nisha, do you want to start us off?
Yes, I would
Okay.
love to sign.
Okay, line up and sign this paper now,
Yes.
please.
Okay, let's get a line going.
Everybody line up, line up, line up. Shine, shake it. Shine now.
Make it small though. You know, we could probably just do a signature if it's clear. Only print if it can't be.
You need a piss?
Yeah.
Go behind the barbecue.
Happy dancing.
Yeah, happy days.
I'm gonna film a little.
It's down the NFL.
Oh, you're reading that new stuff? First?
Violet is the new chief.
Yes or no?
Print and write your name, please. Print? And then write your name, just so we can have, so it's clear for everybody to see.
Okay, we're going to move to point 5 on the agenda, which reads, do the citizens of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen accept Chief Edward Mishimity's recommendation to appoint Daryl B. Kizik to a position of senior leadership within the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen as per his May 16th, 2019 open letter? So same deal as before. Is there any discussion?
Okay, the letter you're about to sign. This is regarding Topman's.
Okay, seeing no discussion, would people be willing to move to make a decision? Yes? Okay, so as soon as Hilda comes out, we will do the same thing.
You'll be doing it for 4 pages, might as well let them know.
Yeah, we're gonna do this for each one of these questions, and then when we're done, we'll announce the results, and then the meeting will be finished.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
member.
He's a member, he's a youth.
Yeah, and now we're gonna do if people can form a line again and do the same for the second question around Daryl Kizik. We have this ready now. And we should just say this is
I'm on
page 2
Twitter.
of 2.
We're gonna have that Christian. Come, Christian.
Do we have the first page of it?
That's probably gonna be here.
That's the agenda. There's gotta be one more. Okay, there it is.
Let's have Christian sign before you can do it.
Oh, yeah.
If you agree to have Violet as the new chief, sign on the yes side.
I'll be here one vote.
Not hereditary, customary.
Can we have you print your name? Just to make sure he knows your signature.
We don't acknowledge him like that, just so you can make it, I don't know, but, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can now start the for the second point.
You wanna bring that up, or do you already know if you signed it?
Okay, does everybody know what's going on? Just come in the line as soon as the line seems small enough for you to stand in the sun.
Which one is that?
This is for Darrell right now.
Oh, okay.
This is question number, or agenda item number 5.
Thank you, Vernon. If you agree to have Darrell Cusick as a new leadership, sign a yes. If not, sign the no. Print and write your name. You agree to have Darrell Cusick as new leadership? Sign a yes. If not, sign on a no. Print and write your name. If you agree to have Darrell Cusick as the new leadership, that's your choice.
No, the first time I see that thing, I said no.
Okay.
There's 2. Yeah, good. I shouldn't get it in the nigga bin the one.
Daisy next. Good, Daisy sign it. Okay. The letter you'll be signing is to have Darrell Cusick as the next leader as stated in Chief Ed Chopman's letter. Do you agree or do you not agree?
Yeah.
I don't think you agree.
Yeah.
Let me get yeah, and you're signing on the no side. So you don't agree.
That's stupid.
That's stupid. You're a smart lady. Thank you. The letter you're about to sign is to have Darrell Cusick as new leader as stated in Chief Ed's letter. If you agree, sign the yes. If you don't agree, sign on the no side.
I signed already.
Thank you. I just had to let you know what you're signing.
Okay, so next we're going to move to point 6, which reads, do the citizens of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen accept Ron Mashimity, Joyce Medicine, Betty Nikan, and Darlene Nikan as the legitimate headman/council of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen? This is from the meeting on February 6th, which was held following, February 3rd, which was held after the December 9th meeting, review meeting. And that was decided there, but it's being asked again to confirm. Now, if one of these 4 people is selected as chief later in the agenda, then we'll have to replace them by picking a new headman to fill that spot. Okay, but this is to ratify and to confirm the decision that was made in February. So is there any discussion? Is there anything that, questions or concerns or anything that people want to have addressed? Okay, well, see, are people comfortable making a decision and recording their decision, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so that will now be the next paper that's up.
I have a question before anybody signs that. Does that exclude the ones that are running for headsman?
No.
Do they sign as well?
No, they would be, no, everybody can sign, everybody can sign. They can agree, like they have to agree with it or else they won't be there.
Okay.
Right, it would be the equivalent of turning down your nomination. So they should, Okay, all right, so we're now gonna do the signing for the headman.
One more? How much more?
We're on 6.
I agree.
So then, do we consider him to be the acting chief? Then, do we choose an acting chief? Do we hold a meeting to replace the acting chief on this day?
Thank you, Vernon.
And the final thing is...
Don't forget your keys. Those your keys?
No, not my piece.
Not your keys?
No.
Okay. Do you agree with the new headsman chosen in February as Ron, Joyce, Betty, and Darlene as a legitimate headman council of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen? If you agree, say yes. If you don't agree, say no.
Correct.
Okay.
7 on your agenda.
Sorry, Ron.
This one involves a little bit more discussion. And it says, do the citizens of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen considered Edward Mishimity to be the acting chief of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen? So there's been some people that have said his position is there until he dies, and so he still is. And other people have said his position is the position of chief is a 21-year position, and the review period for that came up on December 9th. And at that meeting, the people said that they wanted change. So maybe Ron, can you? I know that's your position. So maybe Ron, if you could speak to the question number 7: do the citizens of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen consider Edward Mishimity to be the acting chief of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen? So I know you have your reasons for what you think, and I think there might be other people that have other reasons. So I will just.
You mean 21 years in?
Yeah, that you were saying. So is Edward Mishimity the chief of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen right now?
No, I do not recognize him after December 9th.
Can you speak to everybody?
After December 9th, I said I pulled my consensus for the leadership of Saugeen here on that date. At that point, he quit following the convention. When the review says it's every 21 years. And the way I read the convention is a 21-year term is a life term. Because it says, in order for you to run for chief or a headman, you have to be at least 21 years of age. Meaning, you have to live a lifetime before you even consider to be chief or a headman. So that's where he broke his convention there. What else? Did I miss anything?
No, that was your main.
Oh yeah, another one I wanted to stress is, in those 21 years, if you're elected a headman, you have that 21-year bracket where your bloodline follows your position as a headman or a chief. That falls under that hereditary successor position. There he failed again to tell everybody how the convention reads on that. Everybody understand?
Okay, is there anybody that wants to speak to the position that Edward Mishimity is still the acting chief of the Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen? Okay. All right, seeing none, are people comfortable moving to making a decision? Again, with the yes and the no and the paper on the...
Okay, wait. I just want to say something. The way I really feel, like, we do have empathy and respect for Chief Ed. Now I forgot my last train of thought. What I'm thinking is, okay, I understand it, like, okay, when he passes, and I'm kind of waiting till then, with respect to whenever the creator decides to take him home. That's where I got kind of confused as to being picked and not recognized by the chief, because Indian Affairs still recognizes him as a chief, right? They still are recognized as the government. So we're coming behind like this with the consensus of the people, and we're moving towards this way. So that's where I'm kind of confused. Do we wait? No? Okay. Well, I'm just trying to clarify that with myself.
The convention does not state until death.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lifetime position.
Yeah, okay,
21
yeah.
years to me.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to say that anyways, and yeah.
You think he'd wait for you if you were in that position?
No. But anyways, yeah. Okay, that's all I was just kind of wondering about, because I'm kind of confusional too as to the legalities of how to move in, how to get actually into the government setting here. That's all I was kind of wondering, like, okay, how do we do this?
But I guess you guys know what you're doing. Okay, thanks.
All right, is there anybody else that wants to speak to this question?
Yeah.
Anybody else feel free to come up and speak on the shaded stage. Okay, seeing no further questions or statements, we'll then proceed to making a decision. Are people okay with making a decision on this matter?
Yes, we already
Okay.
done it. Like how many times?
All right, so come over to the wishing well.
Sent over. Okay, I'll do it.
Just get sent over. You have a page 2 by 4.
I did earlier.
Just we have two pages. I'm gonna go with the elders first.
Okay,
So we have them.
great. Okay, there's only 3 more items on the agenda after this one's done. Okay, guys, we need people to come up and make their mark.
So this is where I'm still considering Edward Mashimity as my chief?
Yeah. Do you, the citizens of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen, consider Ed Mashimity to still be the acting chief of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen?
No.
Yes or no? Thank you, Desiree.
There's a lot of lefties that don't
Consider Ed to still be the chief of Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen?
You can stop.